All right, we should be good. Finally back in the building. Wow. Happy Monday, y'all. We are almost done with 2025. It's crazy. Feels like it just got here, but y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. Wow, we are back at it. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream. I'm your host, ClassE. Patreon.com/ClassEbeats, by the way. Link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. Y'all make sure you check out the Patreon because we got some amazing stuff coming up on this next year in 2026. So y'all don't want to miss out on that. Before I get into the show, we've got a lot to get into. We got Candace Owens, Civil War, Tyler Robinson's back in court. We're even going to talk a little bit about Fani Willis and some interesting inside information from YSL Mondo, the alleged co-founder of YSL. But before we get there, y'all know I got to say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to the gang in the building. Of course, we've got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy is in here doing what she does. Let's be amazing. Shout out to Amy. We've got Les Cleaver in here. Taco Tuesday is in here a day early. Virginia Wiley's in the building as well. So good to see all of y'all. And thank you for being here. Now, I do not ask for much on this show, but the one thing I do ask for is that you all like the video on your way in. So if you could, please make sure you like the video. Likes are free. It takes less than a second to do. It helps the channel continue to grow and it lets the algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the show. Shares the video, the channel, this live stream we're watching right now with more people. So thank you to all 300 plus of you that have done that so far. I appreciate y'all. It helps out a lot. Secondly, if you are feeling generous, you can share the video as well. Just click the share button. It's got an arrow curved pointing to the right. That's going to allow you to share the video out. And I don't know why my sound effects aren't working. Share the video out to anywhere you're on social media. You can share it to Facebook, Instagram, X, even you can send it in text. You can send it to your whole entire group chat. Just go through your contacts and share it to everybody you know. Don't do that. They'll probably be mad at you. Either way, though, thank you to those of you that share that way. Also, for those of you that go the extra mile and send in super chats, I will be reading super chats throughout the show. I don't ask for super chats, but I do appreciate every single one of y'all that keep the lights on here on the show and love to give that way as well. So thank you so much to everybody in here. Kitty Cat's in the building as well. Good to see all of y'all this morning. How's everybody feeling? Y'all have big plans for New Year's? Is it New Year or New Year's? For the new year, we'll say it that way. Happy holiday. Penny Neal's back in here. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get into it. The trial, let's see, not the trial, but the hearing for Tyler Robinson is probably going to start around noon sometime. So we may jump right over to that. So we're going to get into it here shortly. But first, we'll talk about what's going on with Fani Willis, because y'all know I will never miss out on the opportunity to talk about Fani Willis here. Now, with that being said, this is somewhat of an interesting situation because, as many of you know, Fani Willis was an attorney at one point and an attorney for YSL Mondo. Yes, that is true. And he's going to talk about it here. We're going to get into it and what happened in the situation. I'll give you guys some background about what Fani Willis did as his attorney. And we're going to hear from YSL Mondo exactly how he felt about Fani Willis's work on his case and how that led to YSL. So shout out to Big Loon for posting this over on X. He says YSL Mondo told Big Loon his lawyer was Fani Willis before she became the district attorney that RICO'd Young Thug and YSL. She got him into a drug program when he didn't even have a drug charge. Fani Willis told him, "Boy, don't mess up my name. I'm about to be the district attorney." Then later, she's the face of the whole YSL case, which is interesting. And we'll find out why here in a second. I'm looking at this like, this is what Big Loon says. How much game is a lawyer allowed to take from the hood? As much as they want. Then turn around and use that same access to climb the ladder and end up prosecuting the same circle she once defended. Let's go ahead and hear from YSL Mondo himself. This is going to get very interesting. Y'all check it out.
Right. What's your relationship with Fani Willis?
I was fighting a case in 2019, I want to say. And I didn't know at the moment that I was the last case she was working on. And I didn't know she was getting ready to be the head DA until like after my case got ready we done my case, like I had to go to some shit called RSAC. Like I got sent to a little drug program. She really helped me fuck with my game because I didn't even have no drug charge. But that's another story. Yeah, she was just my lawyer.
She was out there giving game to YSL. Hey, go do this drug program. We're gonna get you.
Bro,
right.
she was my lawyer before she turned around to be the DA. And once I got out from my shit, I got out on ankle monitor. She was telling me like, yeah, you know I'm finna get ready to be the DA now. Like, boy, don't fuck my name up, boy. I just got you. I just got down. You know, I'm laughing at her because this my lawyer. We having damn near auntie nephew type of vibes. How I'm kicking it with her. So when she was saying that, I just laughed it off. I ain't take it serious. I'm like, man, all right, so they had some shit happen at the Wendy's in Atlanta where the police killed the guy. The police shot somebody. So that's when I started seeing her on these this press
campaigns and shit.
Yeah, I started seeing her doing the press and shit on news. I'm like, damn, Miss Witt is the real DA now, like for real. That's when I just started paying attention to it. And then shortly after that, bro, before it hit bro them with the RICO. And it fucked my mind up, bro, because I'm like, how ironic, bro.
How did she know about Thug?
I don't know. I don't know how the hell how this came about. I don't know if this was already on.
Bruh. How did she know about Thug? Really? Mondo, come on now. How did she know about Thug? She was your attorney. Y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Do you think at the time Fannie Willis served as Mondo's attorney that they had conversations about YSL, they had conversations about Young Thug, they had conversations about the inner workings of YSL, or, you know, he didn't discuss that with his attorney. You know, they were just talking about his specific case. Come on, bro. What do you mean you don't know how she found out about YSL?
On the desk before she came to be a DA?
Come on.
This is something
Hell nah. This is something she done. That's how this happens. It happened around here with a dude named Glenn Funk. He used to be a top lawyer around here. Then he became a DA and he indicted a lot of the niggas that he really, to me, and I say this respectfully because I don't want no smoke with the police around here.
Right.
But it felt like, and rumor has it, that he took some of the information that he gathered from representing these guys all of those years, and not maybe direct, but indirect information and just intel.
How is that legal though?
That's what I'm saying. That's why she probably, you know, yes, I don't know if it's.
He's like, is it legal? Because, you know, attorney-client privilege and all that. I was just talking to her. He doesn't want to say it, but y'all, I see y'all saying it over there.
Yeah,
too.
it's legal if she kept herself away from Young Thug. See, because people, what happens is people like Fannie Willis will set a target well before they get close to it. You see what I'm saying? So she may have looked at all rappers in Atlanta and been like, well, I'm gonna get one of these niggas to get to the next level. They gonna be my play. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I don't know, what you thinking?
I feel like, bro, it's bigger than just Miss Willis. I really feel like it was already we already know they was already getting investigated before Miss Willis even turned to be the DA.
Yeah, but she came in and said if you rap and all this, she took a thing against rappers.
Yeah, I don't know what that's. This the honest to God truth, bro. This just how I feel though, my brother. And people can take it how they want to take it. This was my lawyer, my brother. So we have lawyer, you know, I was locked up. So, you know, she comes to the jail, we sit down, we have.
Y'all see, hey, y'all gotta listen. I have not seen this video yet, so it's hilarious he's saying that, hey, you know, that's my lawyer. You know, we got what he wanted to say is we got attorney-client privilege, all right? And she's not supposed to use any of that information, right? Right? Wrong.
Lawyer, you know, I was locked up. So, you know, she comes to the jail, we sit down, we have phone conversation. This is my lawyer, so I got to talk to her about certain shit. Bro, I never got no, I want to take motherfuckers down. I want to see motherfuckers go down.
She the best at it.
Yeah,
Listen,
I never got that vibe from her.
But this is what I'm saying about high level game that's being ran in this shit, bro. This is a lawyer, my nigga. This is the highest level of manipulation. Yeah. You dealing with a lawyer. You supposed to feel like smooth that criminal. When you're around a lawyer. Yeah, that's part of the shock. That's part of my game plan for you to feel like that. Yeah. You ain't supposed to, boy, these here smooth, like you say, they're smooth criminal.
They smooth criminal.
So,
man, listen, all right. So I get what they're saying and how it's messed up, how you can have attorney-client privilege with your attorney, right? And say they're a defense attorney. Then they go over and they want to become a DA. Then they remember, oh man, I had a conversation with ClassE while he was in prison, you know, for selling too many, I don't know, whatever, selling too many pumpkins during Halloween time. And I remember he was talking about that one guy he sold pumpkins to. I wonder if there's something there. Maybe we could start an investigation there. And you know what? Actually, he said that one guy was also connected to this dude. That's just good. That's the nature of the game. And an attorney like Fani Willis, as y'all know, she's going to do what she needs to do to get where she needs to get. As we saw in this RICO, as we saw in the indictment against President Donald Trump, it's all a part of the game. It's all a part of the attorney. Now, YSL Mondo didn't really necessarily have any issues with the YSL case specifically. He had some other things going on, but I mean, I guess it technically worked out for him. But with him talking and with him saying the way and saying the things that he did, it's clear that he feels Fani Willis used that as a way to get at Young Thug and a lot of the others who were involved in the YSL RICO case.
You ain't posted, boy. These here smooth, like you say, they smooth criminal.
They smooth criminal.
So
sure.
that's the first thing you gather as a lawyer. Yeah. Pause. You know, especially running for DA after this, she's on a trail, my nigga. It's clear she's on a path. She ain't just out here for nothing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If that's the case, I know real smart people that was lawyers for 30 years and just lawyers. She's doing something.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? Now, was it on the menu? I think rappers as a whole in Atlanta was on the menu in Georgia for them to say, like, a lot of black niggas got money.
Yeah,
a lot of street black niggas.
I started noticing that shit like 2018 when I got out of prison, how a lot of rappers was getting targeted and kind of like locked up and pulled over and shit like that. So I felt like that's what they was on. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I just feel like they were just on the bullshit, period. Overall, they were just on the bullshit.
But you think Fani, because your relationship with her, you think she cooler than it seemed? You think
that's what I'm basically trying to say, my brother. Like, I don't see her on some shit like, even if she is a DA, she got a job, I don't see her on no just, I'm just out to get you, want to see you go down, want to see you in prison for the rest of your life type of vibe.
I don't see how you saying that when you looking at Young Thug. You looking at it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I understand what
she
you're saying.
She the head DA. She the motherfucker pull the trigger.
But guess what though? See, I always say this, and I could be wrong, but sometimes I kind of think outside of the box too a lot. It feel like they're just like with the president, my brother. It's somebody who tell the president what to do. It's always somebody who's pulling. I feel like she's a puppet.
Dang. So YSL Mondo really said, oh, "That's my attorney. That's my attorney, y'all. I get it." But I think somebody else is making her do this. No, she knew exactly what she was doing, man. I think we would be naive if we didn't see right through what Fani Willis was trying to do moving into her position as the district attorney. And there was this article that was posted about Fani Willis and YSL Mondo as well, and how she came to indict the entire YSL RICO. Check this out from Rolling Stone. It says Fani Willis was a lawyer for YSL co-founder. He says she's not who she seems. One of Young Thug's associates, YSL Mondo, says Fani Willis acted differently from her public persona while serving as his defense attorney in 2019. I mean, sure. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has built a reputation as a tough-on-crime prosecutor eager to fill Atlanta prisons through sweeping indictments. But YSL Mondo, who co-founded the Young Stoner Life music crew with Young Thug in the early 2010s, tells Rolling Stone that Fani Willis he sees on TV isn't the same woman who served as his defense attorney in 2019 during an aggravated assault case. Well, she changed her priorities, I guess we could say. This is not her character. This is not who she is, he says during a phone call. Mondo, come on, bro. I done had auntie to nephew, mother-in-law, mother to son type of talks with her. I know this is not her character. This is what made me start looking at the YSL case like I know it's bigger than just her. It's politics behind this ish. It's other people that's behind her pulling the strings. Man, if you don't... I mean, I get what he's saying, but Fannie Willis made it very clear, even during her campaign and even when she actually got into the district attorney role, that she was going after crime. She was going after rappers. She was going after anyone who was, in her mind, inciting the violence that was happening right here in Fulton County. Willis, who is currently prosecuting Young Thug, and this was back in the day, and 13 other defendants in a RICO case alleging that YSL is a criminal gang, which he denied, of course, worked as a prosecutor in Fulton County DA's office for 16 years, but she briefly left the office in 2018 to establish her own private practice, the law offices of Fannie T. Willis, LLC. Mondo, a West Atlanta rapper who dropped his debut album, One of Them Ones, on January 17th, says he hadn't previously known of Willis or her reputation as a prosecutor before his cousin suggested her as a defense attorney. I've never heard of this lady before. I never heard no cases she fought or nothing. I just went off the strength of my cousin saying she was a good lawyer. He's a good lady and she's her friend. I went off that. Then I hired her. He posted a clip of his case's 2019 court proceedings on Instagram. In the video, which has since been deleted, the two stand before a judge and Willis pats him on the shoulder while she hugs his child, who was brought up to the defense's table. It really wasn't nothing that I was trying to keep a secret because the video is on my page, he says, since deleted. That video right there went viral. I was shooting that out there because I know it's going to end up coming up, Mondo says. Mondo says he posted the video to proactively prevent anyone from thinking weird-ish about his interactions with Willis, basically saying they didn't want him. Because the RICO indictment against YSL came out not long after Young Thug was, and not long after YSL Mondo was represented by Fannie Willis, he didn't want people looking at him saying, hey, Mondo, how did she get all of this information? Why did she even know to look at Young Thug? It's a good question. We know Viverito was involved in all that as well. I'm not going to point fingers at Mondo, but I get him wanting to put that out there and be like, hey, y'all, she was my attorney and that was it. I'll leave it up to y'all to decide if you think that's the case. There's been immense controversy surrounding December's plea agreements in the YSL indictment, and Mondo indicated that he doesn't want his name anywhere near the speculation. Well, Fannie Willis reached via email appeared to confirm that she represented YSL Mondo, though she used his government name, which he requested that we not print, and noted, I do not know him by the name that you call him. All right.
Stop the cap.
We don't believe that. All conversation with him are attorney-client protected, and past confirming I represented him would be inappropriate, Willis wrote. Oh, I think I can say I liked him. I hope he is well. She added, when I represented him, he received 110% effort from me. I advocated for him with zeal. I tend to meet my clients where they are. I hope you understand what that means. I want to see him do amazing things with his life, and I hope that's where he's headed. Mondo says that Willis was a great attorney for him, getting his aggravated assault case dropped to a lesser one and having him sentenced to a program in lieu of prison time. He says that even after his sentence, she worked to get him an early release from the program due to COVID. And beyond her casework, he says that the two shared a cool relationship, with her being aware of his rap career and even using it to her in her defense. That's why the YSL indictment is surprising to Mondo. That's not her character, he contends. She's almost like not really street, but she understands what goes on, bro. She understands life to a certain degree. She ain't trying to take all these little black dudes down. What? She ain't that type of woman, man. I'm telling you, she's not. Okay, so then if that's the case, if that's how Mondo feels, then maybe this is a Donovan Thomas situation. Maybe it was completely about Donovan Thomas and him being taken out and Fannie Willis wanting to make sure he was avenged in some way. I don't know about this. It seems like there's a lot not being said here and we probably won't ever know. I get what Mondo's trying to do, but it's hard not to look and think, man, the fact that she knew he was YSL, she got into office and understood she could make a big case out of this. It has to be a connection there. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. Man, what's Mondo's out here like, hey, y'all, it wasn't me. Oh man. Shout out to Mary's in the building. Good to see all of y'all in here as well. Says I'm late because I was watching all of ClassE's videos from last week. Oh, thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Thanks for the content during the holidays. Oh yeah, y'all know we don't take any days off, and we actually need to go ahead and get into this Tyler Robinson hearing because it looks like they're live, and this is going to be an interesting one because, man, we're going to find out what will be the decision about the media situation. And what do I mean by that? Well, we'll go ahead and talk about it here in just a second. Again, thank you to everybody who's in here. We've got 8,000 of you in the building. Thank y'all so much. If you could, please make sure you like the video. Likes are free. Takes less than a second. I know y'all are going to have a good time. So go ahead and like that video. Let me see. Let's get this picture changed. And we'll go ahead and get Tyler Robinson up here as well. If y'all haven't yet, please make sure you go over and subscribe to the Jury of Your Peers channel. We're actually going to be streaming from there shortly. I'm live streaming this hearing over on the Jury of Your Peers channel as well. I got to get the link, but the link is posted and pinned in the comments for y'all, so you can go over there and subscribe as well. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost at 200. So thank you to everybody that's subscribed so far. Make sure y'all go over there and check it out. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. So now we are here in this Tyler Robinson hearing, and we're going to find out what the judge's decision will be about everything that's going on with Tyler Robinson and this media situation. As we saw in the last court proceeding, there was a big issue with how Tyler Robinson was filmed, how Tyler Robinson was being shown on camera, specifically with the shackles. And then there was an issue with the camera being too close to the defense side. And it actually captured some of the conversation between Tyler Robinson and his defense team. So the camera got moved, and then the judge said, I'm not going to take away all of the access to the cameras when it comes to the media being in the courtroom, but y'all need to make sure you're careful and you abide by the rules. So now we're going to hear a little bit of information about that from the judge, and maybe we'll have a final decision here. Let's check it out. And let me double check and make sure. Oh yeah, here we go.
Morning, counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jeff Hunt and David Ryman on behalf of the Deseret News, KSL, and other media interveners.
Good
morning, Your Honor.
So
Michael Judd on behalf of the Salt Lake Tribune and other media interveners.
Thank you, and good morning to you. Mr. Robinson, are you with us?
Uh-oh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tyler's there
And
somewhere.
Mr. Robinson,
We
good
can't see
morning
him.
to you as well. All right.
Tyler Robinson always hiding.
The court appreciates the patience of the parties while it considered issues raised by the media interveners. An appropriate classification of the transcript and audio recording from the October 24th hearing. The court has taken the necessary time to conduct a careful, independent review of the written submissions, oral arguments, and applicable legal authorities, and to thoughtfully evaluate the matters presented. In doing so, the court has remained mindful of its duty to balance competing constitutional interests. Openness and transparency are foundational to our judicial system and essential to maintaining public confidence. At the same time, the public's right to access is qualified, not absolute, and may be limited when a legally sufficient justification exists. The
Here we
court
go.
recognizes the substantial public interest in these proceedings and has approached its review with that interest firmly in mind. The court has independently reviewed the October 24th transcript and audio recording in its entirety in determining whether any restrictions on public access is warranted. The court considered whether such limitations are necessary to protect specific constitutional interests and whether less restrictive alternatives could adequately address those concerns. The carefully limited redactions ordered are narrowly tailored and designed to protect those interests while preserving the public's ability to understand the substance, context, and significance of the proceedings.
Come on,
By
Judge.
way of context, the transcript of the October 24th hearing consists of 83 pages, 80 of which contain verbatim record of the proceedings. Each page includes 25 lines of text, and the transcript reflects just over 2 hours of the courtroom proceedings. The duration of the that hearing was 2 hours and 19 minutes. The closed hearing held on December 11th included detailed arguments from defense, prosecution, and counsel for the news media regarding what portions of the record should remain private and what should be made public. That hearing likewise lasted nearly 2 hours, during which time counsel addressed these issues carefully, line by line and word by word. The court acknowledges and appreciates the diligence, professionalism, and preparation demonstrated by all parties during both hearings. After full consideration of these arguments, the court determined that 246 words, approximately 1 page of the 80-page transcript, should be redacted. No other portions of the transcript were found to warrant restriction. The court further notes that the matters addressed during the October 24th hearing, including issues related to civilian clothing and shackling, are best understood when considered in their full context. The limited scope of the redactions reflect the court's effort to preserve that context to the greatest extent possible. The redacted transcript will be promptly filed on the docket by the end of today. The corresponding audio recording will require additional time to ensure that it precisely reflects the approved redactions and that no protected material is inadvertently disclosed. The court anticipates the audio recording will be available within approximately 2 weeks. This court notes the importance of the audio in addition to the transcript, because hearing what was said and how it was said is equally as important as just the transcript itself. The court's sole objective in this process has been to ensure a fair, orderly, and lawful proceeding that reflects the constitutional rights of the parties while honoring the public's qualified right of access. The court notes that the standing decorum order has also been updated.
Here we go.
And directs all parties to review the order in advance of future hearings. Accordingly, the court now issues the following order regarding the classification of the transcript and audio recording of the October 24th hearing. And turning to the order itself. The state of Utah and defendant Tyler James Robinson filed a motion to classify the transcript and audio of the sealed October 24th, 2025 hearing as private. Because the press requested notice of all such motions, the court held a closure hearing on December 11th, 2025 to address the classification of the transcript and audio recording of the October 24th, 2025 hearing. Prior to that closure hearing, the parties filed a joint status report identifying some 20 provisions of the transcript for redaction and stating that the balance of the transcript may be classified as public. Having reviewed the relevant pleadings from the parties and representatives of the press and heard oral arguments during the December 11th closure hearing, the court now rules and orders as follows. The public has a presumptive right to access court records. See Utah Rules, Judicial Administration 202.02 sub 1. That right, however, is not absolute. To support and achieve certain interests and objectives, a court may close portions or entire court records. A court may consider any relevant factor, interest, or policy, both in favor of and opposed to closure, in determining whether to redact portions of or close all or part of a court record. In deciding whether to redact or close a court record, a court must balance the interests favoring opening and closing the record, and if it determines to close the record, determine there are no reasonable alternatives to closure. The parties have argued, and the court has considered, the following policy interests in determining the motion. 1, protecting safety interests. 2,
What's
protecting
gonna happen,
privacy
Judge?
interests and non-party participants. And 3,
Argued.
protecting the defendant's right to a fair trial. Approximately half the portions of the transcript the parties seek to redact address courtroom and courthouse security measures. Safety concerns are well recognized as justification for closure of court records. This undoubtedly includes references in the court record to specific safety measures undertaken as part of the court security plan and practices in highly publicized cases. This case generates extraordinary ongoing national and international attention, some of which is threatening in nature to the parties, their representatives, and non-party participants. The safety and well-being of all involved in this matter outweighs the interests of the public that are served by open court records. Nevertheless, and as the parties recognize, the court need not seal the entire transcript and audio of the October 24th, 2025 hearing to protect the safety interests of all those involved. Redacting selective portions of the transcript and the audio that reference security measures will serve safety interests while allowing for as much public access to the remainder of the record as possible. The court hereby orders the redaction of the portions of the transcript corresponding audio referencing security measures identified in the parties' joint status report and further pared down during the closure hearing. These include the following portions of the October 24th, 2025 hearing transcript. Page 4, line 19 through 22, following the word unshackling until the sentence begins with the word and. Page 4, line 25 until page 5, line 1, including the first sentence of the last paragraph. Page 5, line 9 through line 10, following the word proceeding and ending before the word but. Page 5, line 18 and 19, including the entirety of the bailiff's comment. Page 33, line 17 through 18, following the word courtroom until the end of the sentence. Page 34, lines 5 through 7, following the word arrested until the end of that sentence. Page 35.
So we're going through
lines
redactions.
24 through 25, including the last sentence of that page. Page 36, line 1, including the first word on the page until the sentence begins with the word that. Page 40, line 12 through line 16, following the word outside until the word maybe. Page 41, line 17 through line 21, following the word on until the end of the paragraph. Page 43, line 11 through line 13, following the word jail and ending before the sentence begins with the word and. Page 55, lines 12 through 13, following the word people and ending before the sentence beginning with the word so. Page 64, line 18 through 19, following the word been until the end of that paragraph. And finally, page 70, lines 1 through 3, following the word clothing until the sentence begins with the word I'm. Protecting personal privacy
It's crazy the
is a
judge has to go through
recognizable
all of this.
justification for closure of a court record. To justify the closure of a court record, a privacy interest must be more than a desire to avoid annoyance, criticism, or embarrassment, and must serve to protect information of a highly personal nature. The parties initially identified 6 portions of the transcript to be redacted based off privacy interests. During the closure hearing, the parties withdrew defendants' requested numbers 1, 2, and 11. The remaining 3 requests were significantly pared down. The court has already ordered the redaction of request 3 for security reasons, including page 34, lines 5 through 7, as ordered above. The court also finds that privacy interests support this redaction. The court has considered the interests favoring closure of the remaining 2 requests for redaction and concludes that the information is not of a highly personal or sensitive nature.
Dang.
Privacy interests do not outweigh the public's interest in this case. Therefore, the court denies redactions of the following portions of the transcript: page 35, lines 16 through 17, and page 80, lines 22 through 25. The right to a fair trial seeks to ensure that the one accused of a crime will have his guilt or innocence determined solely on the basis of the evidence introduced at trial. Thus, if disclosure of information poses significant risk of endangering a defendant's right to a fair trial, then closing or sealing a court record to protect that information is justified. Nevertheless, when such information has already
That's
been
fair.
introduced to the public arena, there is a suggestion that no additional damage can be done, and the issue of sealing or closing the record becomes moot. Here, the joint status report identified 4 portions of the transcript for redaction, based on the argument that redaction is necessary to preserve defendant's right to a fair trial. The court is unconvinced that the disclosure of the selected portions jeopardizes that right. The information in question is contained in the charging instrument, whether directly or indirectly, as part of the factual allegations made against defendant and already part of the public arena. If this information poses a risk of violating defendant's right to a fair trial, defendant's first line of defense is found in the rules of evidence and criminal procedure. Closing or redacting these portions of the
Judge said he's
transcript
not buying it.
in audio is outweighed by the interests and the objectives served by open court records and mooted by prior disclosures in the information. Therefore, the court denies the request to redact the following portions of the transcript in audio: page 55, lines 2 through 7, page 60, lines 24 and 25, page 61, lines 1 through 6 and 13 through 14, page 64, lines 11 through 17. These portions also refer to a potential non-party witness. The court has considered redaction to protect the non-party participant from risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm. However, the reference is made to that non-party participant during the October 24th, 2025 hearing offers the same but no additional information that can be found in the charging instrument and shared by law enforcement during a press conference. As a result, redacting those portions at this point is a moot issue. For the above reasons, the court orders the following: a transcript of the October 24th, 2025 hearing shall be redacted in accordance with this order and entered into the record, and the audio recording of the October 24th, 2025 hearing shall be unsealed for the purposes of the court clerk identifying the timestamps corresponding to the redacted portions of the transcript, which selected portions, once identified, shall be resealed.
And again, this is from the sealed hearing that took place on October 24th. A lot of people were upset that we weren't able to hear or find out what was going on, what was being said. And now we're going through the redactions, and the judge is deciding that he's going to allow us to have some of the audio and some of the transcript as well.
No copy of the unsealed audio shall be provided until the identified portions have been resealed.
There it
The
is.
court will sign this order today, and it will go into the record. Now,
Awesome.
turning to the second issue.
Oh,
And
here we
the court
go.
now issues the following order regarding the media's request.
Okay, so this is now we're going to get into the media request. We're going to address that shortly, but let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. We're now going to be able to see what went on during this sealed information or this sealed hearing, and we're going to find out what was said, what the issues were with some redactions. Let me know what y'all think. And now this next part's going to be interesting. We'll get into that here shortly, but I got to shout out a couple folks in the building. Oh, chill out, Judge. We ain't ready yet. Shout out to the gang in here. We got a couple of super chats I need to address, and we'll get right back into it. Shout out to Amy in the building with the cake. Thank you, Amy, for the cake. I need that cake over here right now. She's reminding me it's lunchtime and that she always got the cake ready to go. Thank you, Amy, for the love. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for everything that you do. And y'all go support Amy's channel too. Make sure y'all, if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell over on Amy's channel. She has some amazing content. It is binge worthy. You can sit there and watch that channel for days and days on end. So make sure y'all go check it out if you haven't yet, and subscribe and hit the notification bell over there. The link is in the description. We've also got shout out to Keep It Moving in New York with the 5 bomb says, thank you for the content, ClassE and Amy. Thank you for the support. Keeping it moving in New York. Always in here having a great time and has some great and amazing comments as well. So I appreciate that. Thank you for the 5 bomb. We've got my guy, Stephen G down under there in Australia, says, hey, ClassE, is Tyler present? Yes, we heard Tyler's voice at the beginning of this hearing. He's not on camera. I know. We want to see what he's over there looking like, but that's probably because he is in prison clothes, because court is not actually, they're not actually at the courtroom. This is via Zoom. So they're not going to show us Tyler. Maybe something will happen with the Zoom and we'll get a peek at him at the end. We'll have to wait and see. Again, thank y'all for the love and support and the super chats. I appreciate y'all so much for helping keeping the lights on here. And thank you to nearly all of you that liked the video so far too. Over 600 of you liked the video. Dang. Can we get 100% likes? That would be amazing. I beg for likes because they're free. All right. I'm stingy with the likes. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of this court hearing. Now we're going to get a decision on whether the media is going to be allowed in and to what extent the media is going to be allowed in as well. Basically, the media organizations. I want to read this for you guys as well. Media organizations have been pushed for the audio recordings and or transcripts of the hearing to be made public that we just talked about, arguing the public has a right to see parts of the record and notified in the future. And so we're going to get into that. And we're also going to talk about what's going to happen with media in the courtroom. Here we go.
And the court now issues the following order regarding the media's request to intervene.
Here we go.
2 groups of media outlets seek to intervene in this matter. Only the state and the defendant, however, are actual parties to a criminal action. The press need not be a party to a criminal action to pursue the public's presumptive right to access public court records. The press has already been provided with a mechanism through Rule 4-202.04 to protect that right and has already utilized it in this matter. For this reason, the court denies both requests to intervene. The court now reiterates and clarifies its order requiring parties to serve all closure or reclassification motions on the media dated November 10th, 2025, as follows. Again, the parties are ordered to serve all closure motions on members of the press who have requested notice. The parties must file proof of service with the court. A closure motion is any motion to classify or reclassify presumptively public court record under Rule 4-202.02 as any other classification. The parties need not serve notice on members of the press court records that are presumptively not public. A court record means a record that is prepared, owned, received, or retained by this court. This includes hearings. Therefore, the parties are ordered to serve all motions to closure hearings on members of the press who have requested notice. The parties must likewise file proof of service with the court. Nonetheless, the parties are not required to serve notice on members of the press of motions to limit electronic media coverage. If members of the media intend to object to a closure motion and request a closure hearing, such objections and requests must be filed within 7 days of receiving notice. To promote judicial economy and to eliminate unnecessary hearings, The court may decline to hold a closure hearing if no hearing is requested. The foregoing should be treated by the parties as a standing order for the duration of this case. And that concludes the second order of this case.
Yeah, so basically the judge is saying to the media, hey, y'all want to get involved in this case as a party? That's not happening. Mind your business, set up your cameras, and just do what I say. So that's what's happening here. I get it.
The court wishes all parties a peaceful holiday season and hopes that each of you is able, to the extent possible, to spend time with your loved ones. The next hearing is set for January 16th at 1 p.m. And Mr. Robinson, I will see you there at that time. Court is now in recess.
Okay, hold on. I need to hear that
I will
date.
see you there. Is set for January 16th at 1
January
p.m.
16th.
And Mr. Robinson, I will see you there at that time. Court is now in recess.
Okay, there it is. So the judge doing his thing, leaving a little bit transparency open. Now we know that the media, they're not really going to have that much control on what they can do in the courtroom, but they will be able to do this. They can still file motions. They can still challenge any orders that the judge rules when it comes to the media and their involvement in this case. They can appeal access to decisions independently, and they can report on anything that's said in open court. So moving forward, it looks like the media, they just need to make sure that they're abiding by the rules that the judge put in place, and then we should be able to move forward from that. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. January 16th, y'all know we will be back here for this next hearing, and hopefully we'll get some more information about when this case is going to proceed and how it's going to proceed, because it's still up in the air on whether the feds are going to get involved in this or it's going to stay local. So we'll keep looking into that. Let me know what y'all think. Thank you again for the love, man. CPE is up in here dropping the 5 bomb. And what does he say? He's just showing love. He didn't even leave a comment. Thank you for the support, CPE. Always in here consistently showing up and showing out. This trial is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a lot of people involved in this, a lot of coverage, and it'll be interesting to hear what goes down or what happens with the defense team, because we've seen some evidence so far. A lot of the evidence in this is not making sense to a lot of us, especially what we're hearing from the FBI. So it'll be great to see as well. Sounds like the judge's decision serves natural justice well. I'm not mad about the decision at all. I think it was a fair decision. So shout out to the judge. And I need to say, what is this judge's name? This judge is Judge Tony Graff. That's right. I don't know how I could forget that name. Shout out to Judge Tony Graff doing his thing up in there. What else are y'all saying? Thank you for the support. Amy says. Amy also says, I bet Mr. Sprinkles would love this guy to read bedtime stories. He might. Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Mr. Sprinkles. He's over there doing the good work, man. I would hire Mr. Sprinkles in a heartbeat. That guy takes his job seriously. Those are the type of people you want on your team. All right, we've got a couple more things to get into. I know, oh man, is Taco Tuesday still in here? He's going to be upset we're talking about Candace Owens again. But we got to do it because this whole situation with Candace Owens, it's getting wild. And not only is it getting wild because of her back and forth with Turning Point USA, her back and forth with Erica Kirk specifically, but now we're finding out that Candace Owens is starting to beef with quote unquote her own people. Yeah, it's getting serious over on X, and we've got a lot of information for you guys on what's been happening here, especially if you haven't been following this closely. This is going to be interesting because giving you the background on what's going on right now in the investigation, the public investigation by Candace Owens into Charlie Kirk's assassination. Recently, after her meeting with Erica Kirk, she had a gentleman on her show she did an interview with. His name is Mitch Snow. Now, his background and the story he told was highly questionable, from him stumbling upon these cartel mines that they were using and the tunnels they were using to move money back and forth between homes and even back and forth between borders, to him stumbling upon this meeting that took place allegedly 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Mitch claims that Erica Kirk was there. He also claims that Brian Harpole, who is security over at Turning Point USA, was there as well, along with a bunch of other high-ranking military officials. So one of Candace Owens' avid supporters, we'll call him, over on X, saw this interview that Candace Owens did with Mitch Snow, and just something didn't sit right with him, as a lot of us felt the same way. But Evan Kilgore, we're going to talk about him throughout the next couple segments. He has been advocating and encouraging and promoting Candace Owens throughout her entire investigation. He's been fighting for her, people who have come up against Candace Owens. He's been giving them pushback, and now it's looking like he might be the one that's facing some of Candace Owens and her wrath. Because here's what happened over the past couple days. Check this out. So giving you a background on how this all started. The interview went down with Candace Owens. Then Evan, after he saw the interview, he posted this, and we covered this in another video. He said, based on everything I'm seeing, it looks like Mitch was a total fraud on Candace Owens' show and likely straight up lied about who he saw at Fort Achua. Again, I'm saying it wrong. I don't care. Y'all can correct me in the comments. So shortly after that, he said and posted this about what Candace mentioned in her interview. He said, Candace says she doesn't know if she can totally rely on Mitch Snow's memory about who he saw at Camp Achuca. I'm sorry, y'all. At Camp Wachuca, I think is how it's pronounced, but reaffirms he was there days prior to Charlie Kirk's death. She says we shouldn't focus on his past, but rather proving the claims of who he allegedly saw.
I said, I don't know if we can rely entirely on the memory of one person who believes that he saw these individuals. But what I can say is that we verified 1,000% that he was where he said he was, that there was a meeting where he says that there was a meeting. We verified that Captain Neff was there, the one that he says was nice, but he got questioned for a very long time and they wanted to hold him for 24 hours. So everything else that people are trying to dig up about Mitch, you can just ignore. Okay, that is a distraction, right? The only way that you can help debunk anything that he has said is to say, oh, actually, I was the person that was there. It wasn't this congressman, it was me.
And when Candace said this, I didn't like this either. She said, don't worry about his background. It is what it is. I didn't like that because if you're propping someone up and saying this person is a reliable source, well, you have to check out and look into their background, see what level of integrity they have, if at all, and if this person is just a known liar or not. Again, not a fan of that statement, but we'll let her go.
Oh, actually, I was the person that was there. It wasn't this congressman, it was me. Or I was staying at the Candlewood Inn and Suites and I saw this couple or, these two individuals in the hotel as well. And it was actually somebody else. It was my cousin. We are looking only for somebody to debunk those two aspects, okay? Because he was where he says he was and everything else we have verified. Ignore the noise and stay focused on that note.
Ignore the noise and stay focused. Well, Evan said, I don't think so, Candace, because here's what else he found. He said, holy shoot, guys. I think that's what the star is there for. I'm currently speaking with the ex-lover to Candace Owens' whistleblower, Mitch Snow. This issue's crazy, more to come. And then he goes on shortly after that. He says, I'm now speaking with one of Mitch Snow's ex-best friends. Spoiler alert, there's nothing trustworthy about what Mitch says about his past and no reason to believe him now. I mean, Candace may have gotten this one wrong. It's okay. It happens. I'm sorry. And you can hate on me all you want. I'm interested in the truth. And of course, people saw this and they were all outraged. How could you say this against Candace? This is terrible. Hey, if she gets it wrong, she gets it wrong. I'm going to call it out. Evan's calling it out. It is what it is. But he keeps going. And this is where it starts to get crazy. Evan says, I am doing my own, quote, investigation into Mitch Snow now. I'm speaking with his ex-friends, his ex-lovers. He says, I want the truth. Mitch Snow, by all accounts, is a fraud. Dang. Call me whatever you want. I have not sold out. I didn't get the call. More to come. And he keeps going into more information. And now it seems like there's more information not only coming out about Mitch Snow, but coming out about Candace Owens and where this whole investigation is headed. Evan says Alex Jones sums up everything perfectly. The only new information here is that people are allegedly going to sue Candace soon. Oh man, I hope not, because if that's the case, then this might get really interesting. He says, yikes, by the way, my name is Evan, not Kevin. Shout out to Alex Jones, I guess. I don't know. I've said that too many times. We might be going the wrong path on this channel. Here we go.
I'm not an infighter. I don't do stunts. I'm well known for that. But Candace Owens continues to make claims about Egyptian planes and then about hit teams in Fort Huachuca and 12 colonels. And this guy wanders in and they're planning the killing of Kirk. And this congressman's there and Erica Kirk's there and the head of their security's there. And then I spent good money getting the actual flight data, the professional data. And it's like all lies. And I published it a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks, and say, hey, I'm worried here, Candace. Her surrogates, all with the same talking points within 5 hours, attack me. I'm not dumb. When I see the same thousands of people with the same attacks, I'm like, holy hell, you wrote up a script for them and you did that. That's professional.
Damn.
I know professional attacks when I see them. The question is, who's paying for it? She's married to a British lord. Paul Watson, my co-host, discovered her. Had her here to town 10 years ago. She's done a lot of great work. I'm not trying to destroy Candace. But I know a concerted attack when I see one. I know professionalism when I see it. Then she has this Snow character that says he just is at Fort Huachuca the day before Kirk's killed in Arizona. And he wanders into this secure skiff you can't even get into with up 3 levels. There's armed guards. He walks in, there's 12 colonels, and then there's all these people.
And again, just like we said, things didn't make sense with Charlie Kirk's assassination and the FBI's investigation into that. Candace Owens' story, well, we'll say Mitch Snow's story, doesn't make any sense. How is this guy just at the right place at the right time again? 2 times in a row? Something's not adding up.
And then last week, Candace says, oh, I thought maybe this Daily Wire guy's there. She sends him a photo, and Mitch Snow says, oh, he was there too. He's like a vending machine. You just give him the name, and that's it. Then it turns out he's got 5 women with restraining orders. His kids going public against him. All these name changes. All this time in prison, in jail for beating up women. And they go, well, it is true, though, for the record, he was a Green Beret for 1 year. Yeah, 250-pound Green Beret. He claims these women have enslaved him and then all this. This guy is the biggest joke ever. And now her followers have come out, a bunch of them, more today, and said, I'll show you. We don't care if Mitch Snow's wrong. We back Candace. So even when they were faced with the fact that this is all a lie, they say, we don't care.
Nah, we care.
And they say, we're going to get all of you. And then they hide behind Ben Shapiro attacking her. Ben Shapiro attacks me.
We care.
And they say, oh, you work for Israel. I never worked for the Daily Wire run by the Mossad like she did. So that's where we are. And then Kevin Kilgore, who's been one of her biggest supporters.
He called him Kevin.
He simply comes out and says, I've looked at this Mitch Snow, who's admitted all this, and this doesn't sound credible to me. I have a problem. Candace, we ought to drop this. And then he says, Candace, I know this is not Candace attacking me. This is a couple days ago. I know this is just, and then Candace goes, no, Kevin.
We're going to get into that later.
She says, hey, Evan Kilgore, out of curiosity, why were you coordinating your ex post yesterday via text with other influencers? So don't respond to Mitch Snow being complete and total fraud and liar. Attack one of your biggest minions and say he's coordinating. So we got the video. So Mitch Snow says, oh, no, mommy, I'll show you, and dumps all his texts online with the very, quote, influencers that reported back to her.
That's
How
crazy.
dare you sit there when This known con man says all this. How dare you ask a question? So then he releases video of himself at this place and all his text messages and who he's talking to and how he's just asking questions and concerned. But you're in a cult. You're not supposed to do that. He says, Candace,
Can't
what are you
ask
talking
questions.
about? What other influencers? Name names and I'll drop the receipts. I'll screen record and post conversations with whoever you think I'm coordinating with.
He said, please don't do this, Candace.
So again, you're not allowed to ask questions. This is getting ridiculous.
And again, Alex, oh man, this is so weird. I don't know if I want to go this route, guys, on the channel. Alex is right. Candace said we heard it. Don't ask questions. Don't look into it. It's not important. What's important is, was he there or not? That's not important. What is important is the truth. And just because he was there doesn't mean he stumbled upon this meeting. We're going to get into the rest of this back and forth between Evan and Candace in a minute. But this is not looking good. And to see Candace go after someone who is her biggest supporter without maybe, I don't know, contacting them behind the scenes, giving more information, or directly addressing what's being implicated here, not a great look. Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Listen, y'all, we are objective. This is the channel of objectivity, okay? There are not many, I don't want to say influencers, but there are not many people on social media, in the news, even in politics, that I will just straight up support, or I will say I'm a follower of. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons why. When you see things like this go down, it's just interesting to watch. And people are, and listen, people make mistakes. People say things they probably shouldn't say. But to see this back and forth between Candace Owens and someone who's supported her almost to a fault has just been wild to watch. Anyway, shout out to y'all. Thank you to all 800 of you who are in here. I know some of you are tired of Candace Owens, but y'all, a lot of y'all love hearing about what's going on in this investigation, and Candace Owens as well. Yeah, it's getting kind of wild. Oh, shout out to Amy. She says, congratulations, ClassE, for hitting 17 million views on YouTube. Thank you, Amy. Congratulations to you too. Y'all see it in the chat. But Amy does so much to help out this channel. Y'all have no idea, with the promotion, with making sure y'all know when we have different shows going on, sharing out the videos, and a host of other things. So big shout out to Amy. This is a congratulations to you as well. 17 million views on YouTube is crazy. How did we get here? Absolutely insane. And actually, I need to, let me do this. Oh man, I want to get into this back and forth between Evan and Candace, but we may actually, should I save this? Should I save this? We may just go through it. Let's go through with it. I know y'all want to hear about it because it's getting wild. And I want to hear what y'all think about this when it comes to what is being reported by Evan and what Candace Owens is saying in dispute. So let me double check and change one thing here just to give us a little bit more time. And then we should be good to go. All right. Thank you again to all of y'all for liking the video. We're almost at 100% likes, so I appreciate it so much. Let's talk about this situation with Candace Owens and the investigation into the Charlie Kirk assassination, specifically with her informant, or this man that she interviewed, Mitch Snow. We talked about in the previous video, in the previous segment, that Evan Kilgore has been a major supporter of Candace Owens and her investigation into the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Recently, she had Mitch Snow on the channel on her live stream, and Mitch was talking about everything he saw at this meeting, this secret meeting that took place at a place he just happened to be. Well, now, Evan Kilgore did an investigation into Mitch Snow, and he's saying Mitch Snow isn't the person he makes himself out to be. He's actually a fraud, And now Evan is doing his own research. So let's see what Evan found and what he is saying to dispute all the claims that he is wrong. He's just going against Candace Owens for the clout, and what he found is actually false. Let's see what he says here. First thing he says is, "Good morning, everyone. I wanted to get on here to say something, and I know I will open myself up to thousands of hate comments for it. This is okay with me." He says, one of Candace Owens' biggest supporters, What I want to let you all know is that after a great deal of thought and conviction, I can no longer support the direction of Candace Owens' investigation. Oh, it's getting real. Let's read the full message and get into it here. Why? Why does he feel this way? What is he saying? I have always been interested in a possible alternative narrative to Charlie Kirk's assassination. I have likely been her biggest supporter on X, it's true, sharing her clips and watching her show every day since Charlie Kirk's death. Many of her questions, concerns, and criticisms I have agreed with. In fact, virtually all of them until Mitch Snow. While watching Mitch share his testimony of what he allegedly saw at Fort Huachuca, I think I said it right there, at Fort Huachuca, everything felt off about it to me. I agree, and we said the same thing here as we watched it and reviewed it several times. I began to dig into Mitch Snow myself, okay, and immediately came across red flags. I simply voiced my concerns that Mitch may be lying to Candace and was immediately met with hundreds of hate replies, and even Candace Owens herself condemning me, looking into the past and who he says he is, which is unfortunate because, again, Candace built her whole platform on asking questions, finding the truth. And even the way Evan structured everything he found as far as research into Mitch Snow's background and past is to help the integrity of Candace Owens and her investigation. And Candace Owens rejected it. And we'll talk about it here in a second. He says, I simply voiced my concerns that Mitch may be lying to Candace, and was immediately met with hundreds of hate replies, and even Candace Owens herself condemning me for looking into his past and who he says he is. That immediately felt like maybe there was some legitimacy into looking into if Mitch could be considered a credible source. So I reached out to several of Mitch's former partners and friends to verify the story that Mitch is telling to the world about who he is and the serious accusations he is making about who and what alleges he saw. 2 nights ago, they responded to me and shared dozens of messages, stories, and debunked many claims Mitch has made. They even provided me with a police report about an active case against him, which, I mean, what does that mean in reference to what Mitch actually saw at this meeting? We'll have to wait and find out. Mitch, on all accounts of everyone who knows him personally, including his own family, is a compulsive liar, manipulator, abuser, victim, and all-around fraud and horrible human being. He is a psychopath narcissist, I believe, in the true sense. After sharing what those in his life told me about him, I have been met with thousands of hate comments completely smearing me and making the most vile accusations against me I have ever seen, which is a shame. This is a man that, again, is just doing what is preached by Candace Owens and was preached by Charlie Kirk, looking for the truth. He says, I know this is not Candace directing her followers to say these things, but it is the culture she's created. Got to be responsible and accountable for that. He said, and I cannot support it. She is not responsible for the behavior of her followers, though. In the past 48 hours, I have been accused of being paid off, being a PDF, getting the call, quote unquote, being a Fed, being a CIA asset, and many other things, which is crazy because they weren't saying this when he was supporting. Do you all realize how insane and delusional you are getting? For merely questioning and looking into if Mitch Snow is being honest about who he saw. Do you not see the irony, hypocrisy here of how you are behaving when people ask their own questions and do their own investigation? Well, apparently only Candace Owens is allowed to do that. Some of you are not actually interested in the truth and are interested in your confirmation bias. Many have spoken out about Mitch, not because they've been paid, but because his story is falling apart and haven't felt right about him. Saying, it's not a conspiracy. Mitch is just likely a fraud, like he always has been. And people are cautioning Candace. I know she truly believes she is onto something, and it's okay to disagree with her on this one. I do not believe Mitch Snow is the lead we should be trusting. His story is falling apart. People he claims to have seen are providing alibis, and his past screams that he is a habitual liar looking for attention. I know it's hard to accept, and many won't. I know many of you, like thousands, will hate me for this and continue to hurt, I think he meant to say hurl accusations and criticisms of me. I know the risk of speaking up and have known that many of you could turn on me for disagreeing with Candace on something. But as of now, I do not support where Candace is headed and caution her and to prayerfully take heed to some of her biggest supporters' concerns about Mitch Snow and provide more public evidence about his past, the government cases against him, and the alleged cartel members trying to harm him that will allow more belief into what he's told her. God bless. Hey, listen, shout out to Evan. This is what we're supposed to do. And again, you have a lot of people who have, I guess you would call the hive mindset, where just anybody that goes against Candace about anything, they're going to attack. And I guess that's what you would call fandoms. That's what you would call fans, super fans of Candace Owens. And I think that's great for Candace Owens to have, but it does dilute people actually looking for the truth. And I think Candace should appreciate someone like an Evan who is just trying to make sure that she has the correct and accurate information. That seems to be all he was saying. And he was trying to back Candace Owens up on this and say, hey, listen, I know we're all on this Mitch thing, but you might want to pump the brakes, because here's what I'm finding. He also says he wants to address the claims that he's been paid off or got the call. Many of you know I was a former Turning Point USA ambassador. I did not know that. I loved it at the time. It was an unpaid association with Turning Point where I would share their content, and sometimes I would get to speak at campuses and share stories of me getting fired as a way to stand up against cancel culture. I love my story of getting fired for a silly costume day party at work, and is what inspired me to speak up about my political views. But this is just ridiculous now. Some of you are so deep you cannot accept the light of day, I'm afraid. This week, I've had hundreds of people accuse me of getting paid by Turning Point, Polly Market, Erica Kirk, Andrew Colvett, Laura Loomer, Alex Jones, and others to condemn Mitch Snow. Some of you are even saying that this is how I'm affording the family vacation that has been planned for months that I'm currently on. It's absolutely ridiculous. None of this is true and pure cope. Nobody has ever paid me to post about Candace Owens, her investigation, or Mitch Snow. Simply, I believe that Mitch Snow is a fraud after everything that is coming out and what his family is saying about him. I'm not a Fed, I'm not CIA, I'm not paid. I didn't do it, guys. Leave me alone. Well, you know, that wasn't going to happen. Candace Owens had something to say about this, which is tough. So Candace Owens saw this post, and then, of course, they had a back and forth. Candace says, hey, Evan, out of curiosity, why are you coordinating your post on X yesterday via text with other influencers? Mitch. Evan says, Candace, who are you talking about? What influencers? Name the names. I'll drop the receipts. I'll screen record and post conversations with whoever you think I'm coordinating with. This is getting ridiculous. I'm not playing this game. And Candace responds, of course. She says, I'm referring to you texting Morgan Ariel, which is another giant Candace Owens supporter. And I believe Morgan was the one that was actually celebrating Candace Owens following her on X. But she says you were coordinating with Morgan Ariel about what you were going to post yesterday. But she has confirmed to me that you guys are best friends, and that's the reason you tell her what you're going to post ahead of time. Candace has the receipts. But since you're offering, and I'm the nosiest person ever, I will take you up on your offer to screen record your entire conversation with her. Thank you. Yikes. So Candace keeps going, and she says, I don't care who it is, friend or foe. If there is any offer extended to me to read their text messages, I'm going to do it. I'm just hardwired that way. Oh my gosh. And then Candace, she starts taunting him now because he didn't respond right away. She says, Evan, where'd you go? Don't delete anything. Just screen record the entire chat so I can read it real quick. Timestamps included, please. You the best. Dang, Candace is wilding out. And of course, Evan did the thing I keep telling Turning Point not to do, and he just kept it going. So Evan actually gives Candace Owens what she's asking for, and we're going to talk about it here in a second. This is embarrassing. He said he was on vacation with his family in the mountains. He has terrible service. He's like, I apologize. I have a life and I'm trying to enjoy myself and disconnect for the first time in 8 years. Again, we won't get into that. I'm not on my phone much next week. I'm also down for a phone call. You can DM me and ask me anything. Candace, please. This is embarrassing, man. I will not have my phone. I'm not hiding anything. Here's my conversation. So he screen records and shows the conversation that he allegedly had with this person that is his best friend. And they're saying, hey, you should post that. Hey, you should post this. And poor Evan, not going to be able to enjoy his family vacation because we're going to talk about this. At the end of the day, I've said this before on this channel, and it's a shame that all of this is in the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. What really happened is going to be lost because now we've got people going back and forth, and Candace is going to do a whole live stream about it today about Mitch Snow and his credibility with who was at this meeting 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So what weight should we put on this, if any? At this point, I think it's hard to say. And you're just going to have a very polarizing situation where people are going to continue to think either Candace Owens is lying or she's a genius. And what's going to come of that? I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat. Thank y'all again for the love. I know we talked about Candace Owens again. I'm sorry. Shout out to my guy, Stephen G, down under in Australia. He says, congratulations, ClassE and Amy, for the 17 M's. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. People want drama at the end of the day. I don't care if Mitch is a convicted felon. If he was at the airbase, which now there's more proof that not, we need to know who took out Charlie. I agree. FYI, his son went on the show and inadvertently admitted that the Air Force Base called him that day because his dad was being held and needed the next of kin to verify who he was. So again, there's a lot of speculation on what actually went on here. I think the information about Mitch Snow should be pretty easy and straightforward to prove. When is it going to happen? Maybe it'll happen today and Candace will get into it. I had one more thing I was going to cover, but we'll get into it on tomorrow's show. Based on my own research, he was at the base. I keep hearing conflicted stories. It's tough, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank you to all. Ooh-wee. 700 of you liked the video. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to everyone who shared the video. Thank you to everyone who went the extra mile and sent in the super chat as well. Stephen G, my guy from down under. Keep it moving, New York. CPE, and of course, my awesome, amazing Amy E. We are going to be back at it, of course, tomorrow. So make sure, if y'all haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. We got several videos we'll be dropping throughout the day. If y'all missed the one we posted this morning, we had some breaking news we reported on a fatal car accident that took place between a heavyweight champion, the one that just took down Jake Paul in the fight, and he was overseas in Nigeria and got in a very terrible accident. If y'all missed that video, make sure you go watch it. Y'all can be over there catching up on the videos with Mary. I appreciate y'all. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace. Appreciate